Sunrisers Hyderabad go to the top of the IPL table with an 8th victory in 10 matches, seeing off Bangalore in front of their home fans in Hyderabad. This is Matchday Runorder powered by Techno Mobile as we get confirmation of that exciting finish. Oh, so close. It was all down to that last over. So we're joined by Deep Dasgupta and Brad Hogg here in the studio. Hoggy, you got it right. Deep was sadly wrong, but it could have gone either way. It was one of the most exciting games we've had for a while.
Yeah, no, it was very exciting, and I think if you look back at that particular innings from RCB, there was a moment there where RCB were on top. They dropped Vora when Rashid Khan came on, and they also missed an opportunity to Virat Kohli. Now, you don't want to do that. Both were off Rashid Khan, and that was early on in his spell. You wanted to make sure you took those opportunities so that he had more balls to bowl out that middle order. So they nearly lost it at that particular instance, but they're bowling out the death. Bhuvneshwar, Cool, just sensational. 25 off 18 balls. The last overs went for 6, 7 and 6, I think it was. Just brilliant bowling. And that every team, if you're going to win a tournament or you're going to be consistent, you've got to have a brilliant bowling attack, and that's what SRH have.
Well, they're now up to 16 points, virtually guaranteed a spot in the finals. But once again, they've been able to defend a fairly small total thanks to their bowlers.
Oh, absolutely. But I mean, in the halftime, we actually did mention that 146, even though it looks like a smallish target, but it's not, looking at the pitch and the bowling side. But they were brilliant. They were absolutely fantastic. Look at all their bowling analysis. Everyone went around 6, 6.5, except for Shakib. But again, picking up wickets, that's such a key, irrespective of all the formats. Initially we were thinking about, okay, T20 format is all about containing, but it's not about containing, it's about picking wickets. And good bowlers, good wicket-taking bowlers will always win you games, and today was a very good example of that again.
Interesting use, though, wasn't it, of Rashid Khan, because we didn't see him bowling in the power play. He did go for a couple of sixes. How do you think he was used today?
I thought he was used exceptionally well, and you want your main strike bowler, your spinner, bowling in those middle overs, because that's where the pressure is on. He's got fielders out in the deep to protect him himself, so he can have that in-out field where you can have the catcher as well. Now, I thought in that final over of Rashid Khan's, de Grandin played him well with a couple of sweep shots to the boundary. Then all of a sudden he changed his game plan and started to try and drive him. There was a half volley there where he just didn't move his feet and didn't get to the pitch of the ball. They were on top of Sunrisers Hyderabad right then and there, but changing game plan, not sweeping, it's an interesting point there, because when they play up against them again, I think they'll have to look at their lineup and go, right, de Grandin, you're going in early, we want you to sweep everything off Rashid Khan, because you've got that good reach. And he didn't have the answers to that particular bowling. It was de Grandin's change of thought that brought Rashid Khan back into that contest.
Yeah, you spoke about usage of bowlers. I thought Williamson was fantastic. Even if you look at the fact that Virat was playing Rashid for the first time ever, when Virat just came into bat and Rashid was bowling, he had a slip. Obviously, there was a catch dropped, as Hoggy mentioned. But just to have a slip in place for someone like Virat, I think just tells you about the captaincy, the mindset. It's always attacking. Again, I mean, Hoggy would agree with me. You know, a lot of the success of the bowlers, especially spinners, you've got to give credit to the captain as well. How he is looking at the bowler. Does he look at the bowler as a wicket-taking bowler or a defensive bowler? And when I look at Williamson, he's more of an attacking, even though he doesn't come across as a very attacking kind of a personality, but his captaincy is very attacking. So he's got that slip-in position, he's got those single-saving guys really up close, not giving away singles. I thought he was very, very good with the captaincy as well.
And as you pointed out, Hoggy, those last 3 overs, only 25 to get, but they bowled so well, didn't they?
Oh, they just do. They execute their game plans exceptionally well. They know when to go short, they know when to bowl the knuckleballs, but when they're under extreme pressure, they go for the Yorker. And if we look at all the numbers, the Yorker, lower strike rate, if you execute it well, like they've done, they're always going to come out trumps 90% of the time.
And the other important thing is, yes, he nailed the Yorkers in the 20th over, but the 17th over, the 18th over that Bhuvneshwar bowled, he bowled a few length balls as well. And that is something that I would like to see more bowlers do as well, right? Because if you see most of the bowlers, they either go for Yorkers, which is, okay, it's a 50-50 thing. It comes off, it's very good. or the slower one. But nobody actually tries to bowl that length area because as a batsman also, you're waiting for a Yorker or a slower. So you just kind of an element of surprise there. So De Grandhomme, there were 2-3 dot balls in that 18th over, which were length balls. And I don't think De Grandhomme was actually expecting Bhuvneshwar to bowl length balls.
Well, the match really turned in it with the cheap dismissals of Virat Kohli and AB de Villiers, I think just 6 runs apart. 6 balls apart, so that was just really a massive turning point, and neither really looked that good at the crease.
Yeah, Virat Kohli, I think if he had his time again, he would play that shot differently. He looked like a man under pressure at that stage of the game, and AB de Villiers, he just didn't look like he was with it tonight. Just some of the body language.
It's only match back, isn't it, from that virus that really laid him low?
Yeah, well, they all say that he's well. He's well enough to go out there and play, but just his body language. I think there was one there that he missed early, and he just looked angry. And I've never seen that facial expression of AB de Villiers having that anger, that frustration. So that's something that you've got to look at. Are they under extreme pressure tonight? And they were, and they didn't deliver.
And what about picking Rashid Khan? Do you think that AB de Villiers was picking him tonight?
It's very difficult to pick him. I mean, nobody can guarantee and say Rashid is bowling this because the release is so similar. The difference between a googly and a leg spin and a top spin is so similar. It's very difficult. It's very difficult to pick his variations. The action, the quickness of the action itself, the pace of the ball. I mean, he's a class act. He's an absolute class act, and he just showed it today. You're talking about 2 top class, one of the top players in the world in this format, or maybe across all formats. And Rashid Khan was on top of both of them.
Well, if you look at the way AB de Villiers has played spin throughout this tournament, he's been very aggressive. He's gone out and played the sweep shots. He didn't attempt to play one sweep shot that I can remember to Rashid Khan. He was playing him from the crease. And again, I'm just going to bring up this point. Pitch map of Rashid Khan, he just bowls on a good line of length, on off stump, just outside off stump. All his balls are in that direction to the right-hander, so he's setting you up for the wrong one.
So, go on.
Yeah, so bat outside off stump and make him bowl wider. Take his destructiveness away from giving him the opportunity to bowl to your stumps.
Now, as a batsman, would you like top-class batsmen like, say, AB de Villiers and Virat to kind of be a little more aggressive against him and not kind of play his 4 overs out and look for the other 16 overs? Or would you say, you know what, let's give it a try, let's go after him? See, I mean, he's kind of, the couple of games that he's given a few was when the batsman went against him, right? So I don't know, I mean, that's another way of looking at it and say, listen, rather than saying play his 4 overs out, why don't we just try and attack him and let's see how he reacts? Because the last over that De Grandhomme faced, I mean, he did bowl, the last couple of deliveries were really good, slow leg spins and all. But when he attacked him, he did get 2 sixes back to back.
Oh, exactly right. You've got to get your matchups right. And Sunrisers Hyderabad have got to look at that next game and just go, right, De Grandhomme, you've got to back yourself. We're going to put you in there after the 6th over to Rashid Khan. We've got small boundaries out Bangalore. You're going to have to go after him and really attack him. And if you get a hold of him, then he's going to be under pressure. If De Grandhomme gets out and then a de Villiers or a Kohli come in next, then Rashid Khan's under pressure because he's going to be feeling the pinch that he's already got. He's got Kohli and de Villiers to still bat. And that's the type of stuff where you can really rearrange your batting order just to have a little matchup. You don't do it just for the sake of it. You do it for the matchup to try and change the tactics of the opposition.
And when in the context of the match, Kane Williamson, as we mentioned, marshalled his bowlers very well. But that half century in a low-scoring match, just what quality was that, Deep?
That was superb. I mean, on a wicket like this, where it's challenging to bat, you've got to have class to actually get runs on this. You've got to have the skill set, and on a pitch like this, can very easily differentiate between a very good batsman of Williamson's class and somebody else, because you need to be really good to get runs, not only runs, but at that pace which he got around 140 strike rate or something like that. I mean,
143, 58.
Yeah, something like that. So he's a class act. He's a class act, and I honestly believe he's one of the best batsmen against spin across the world.
It's unusual for a New Zealander to say that, isn't it?
Well, it is. And I just think he's a fantastic talent.
Not flashy, is he? He's
not flashy. He just gets the job done, and that's what you want in a batsman. And if you look at Sunrisers Hyderabad, There's no standouts there. Well, you could say Rashid Khan, but the reason why he's a standout is because the pressure is put on from the other bowlers. They work together as a team. He's the one that comes in the middle and gets all the accolades because he gets the wickets. But that's all set up from the pressure from the power play. If you look at their batting, Shakib today, he just grafted out another 35 to have a great partnership with Williamson. They could have all gone out there and go, right, against this batting attack, we have to get 170, 180. No, we've summed up the conditions. It's hard out here. We've got a good bowling attack. Let's just get a good score on the board. And
very good point. Yeah.
And that's
sorry, go on.
Yeah, all the teams that I've played with. Sorry, dude.
No, please.
All the teams that I've played with, the successful teams have 5 quality bowlers, and they just go out there and defend any total that's put on the board. And if you've got a mindset like that, you're going to win most games.
And he mentioned about assessing the pitch. I just remember that picture in this innings. I think when Williamson came in, he quickly assessed the situation, and he was talking to his, I don't know who was it, the non-strikers, and he was telling him it's keeping low. He was, showing with gestures and all. That is a very, very important aspect of batting first, and especially if you're a top order batsman. Assess the pitch early, so it kind of gives, and communicate. Not just about assessing, but communicate to the rest of the team. Listen, this is what we're looking at. We're looking at a 140, 160, whatever it is. But assessing the pitch for a top order batsman batting first is very, very essential.
And give credit to your fellow West Australian Tom Moody as well, the coach of...
No, look, I think he's done a fantastic job. But, I think the management of SRH have done a great job with their selections. If you look at it, Billy Stanlake was gone. Bhuvaneshwar was injured, and Tampi comes in and does the job. So they've just covered all bases. So if there's a batting injury, probably on their batting side, they probably don't have the depth. But on their bowling side, that's their strength, and they've really made sure that they've covered it up there. And I just think it's a wonderful, balanced team. And just on your point there with going back, assessing the conditions, so they don't get caught up when they're batting that they might be playing against an MS Dhoni or a Virat Kohli or an AB de Villiers. They control the controllables, what's out there. Okay, this is what our batting lineup can get on this particular pitch. Let's not worry about their batting lineup because we're going to back our bowlers to defend it.
Yeah, I mean, it does help to have a bowling lineup like that. So obviously that does help. But, that's a very important aspect that you brought up was that selection part of it. Now, just compare the SRH domestic cricketers and the RCB domestic cricketers. We can go on about ABD not doing well or Virat not doing well. But then Mandeep didn't do that great either. Your Parthiv didn't do that great either. Your Manan Vora didn't. So, you can't win matches or a tournament based on one or two individuals. You've got to have a team effort. SRH, again, is a fantastic example of that. Their bowlers did extremely well, and the domestic Indian bowlers. So you had Siraj doing really well, Siddharth Kaul doing really well, in terms of batsmen as well. You have a lot of talent and that faith, that confidence. They really haven't changed their team too much. There could be a few because of injuries and all, but they really have stuck with that almost the same playing 11 from game 1 to this one year.
I mean, it's a true team effort, isn't it?
It is a true team effort, but you've got one of your overseas going away for personal reasons in the middle. You've selected yourself for the IPL. That balance of that RCB team has been disrupted in a time where they actually need momentum and consistency with their team. So that's a huge aspect. You pick your team expecting them there to be for the whole tournament.
Well, let's have a look at the points table and see how desperate the situation is for RCB. They are now with still on 6 points, 3 wins and 7 defeats. So, guys, what's the way forward for them? They've got to win everything from now on, haven't they, Deep?
It's very simple for them. There's no two ways about it. It's not just about now the problem with them. It's not just about winning their own games. So they get, 8 points out of the 4 games remaining. They still go to 14, and so now they depend on the other matches as well. Other favourable, the results from the other games. That's how I see it. They mathematically, obviously, they still have an opportunity of making it to the top 4. But it's not just about winning their own games. Now they'll be looking at other games as well.
And the net run rate's not in their favour either, Hoggy, is it?
No, it's not. They've got Delhi Daredevils and Rajasthan Royals, but they've also got Kings 11 who are playing well. But Kings 11, they're a little bit scratchy now because they're not guaranteed, but they've also got to play Sunrisers Hyderabad again, so they've got a very tough draw to get into the 4 now.
All right, well, Tata Nexon presents the best striker of the match from the game that we've just seen at IPL 2018 with Hyderabad taking care of Bangalore. And it was a member of the losing team, Parthiv Patel, the wicketkeeper batsman. 20 runs, 13 balls, a strike rate of 153.84. Didn't even mention Parthiv Patel, but at least he's won something tonight.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, I did. I mean, the point is, give a good start, a fast start which you needed. Especially with a new ball, and Hoggy mentioned during the halftime that you need a good start, a quick start.
Yeah.
But then once you've given that, I mean, there's also your responsibility to kind of take it through as well, because this pitch is not going to be easy for any new batsman to come in and start scoring at a brisk pace. So, so you've got to also start looking at other players. I mean, like I said, it's very easy for us to just talk about Virat and ABD, but you've got to look at the other 9 as well and say, listen, these 2 will not be winning you all the games. You've got to raise your hand up. Whenever you get an opportunity, try and get your team through.
And I think it's only his second match in IPL 2018, so he's doing all right. At least he's doing his job.
Oh, he is doing his job. But look, if going back to the balance, they rely so heavily on those 2 batsmen, De Villiers and Kohli. You look at CSK, they've just got so many mature players in that order that are performing throughout the tournament, and Dhoni's just taking it away down that lower order. Now, everyone's stepping up and playing their part. They've got consistency.
Yeah.
Whereas with RCB, there's just too much complacency with, Kohli and De Villiers are just going to do it. We don't really need to focus too much. And that's a big worry with their balance.
I get the feeling you guys think it's maybe a bit too much of a stretch for them to scrape into the top 4.
Well, I think so. I think so. I mean, it's not just about those points or winning games, but I think the way they're playing, I mean, that's also important.
Yeah. No, for me, I don't think they're going to get there. I just don't think they've got enough consistency, enough drive at the moment to win enough games. They're definitely going to lose one of these last 4. They should win against Delhi Daredevils. They should win against Rajasthan Royals. But I can't see them under pressure against Kings 11 and Sunrisers Hyderabad to take the points there.
All right, thank you very much to Brad Hogg and Deep Dasgupta. Congratulations to Hyderabad, who won their 8th match in 10 matches in the IPL 2018 to virtually seal their place in the top 4.